How's it going, everyone? I am Polydub, and I am here with another Christmas stream, which are not for long since we are almost at the season. And joining me, well, is just Ranting Monkey. Say hi, Monkey.
Just Ranting Monkey?
Well, for now, is just Ranting Monkey.
You made it sound like you were disappointed by that.
The only Ranting Monkey, as in the one and only Ranting Monkey.
Yeah, sucking up now ain't gonna work.
Well,
hi, how's it going?
It's going good. Along shortly will be Chaos Eve and Lucky Pop Tart, which is pretty cool.
Can I just throw something out there for you?
Sure.
You said that you weren't going to be able to be doing these for very long because Christmas is almost here, right?
That's right.
Another Christmas in a year, you can just keep going.
Does anybody want to hear a Christmas stream in like March?
Well, why not? It would be your niche. You're like, this is what I do. And people would be like, that dude's fucking weird, but they'd watch.
It's like Holly Jolly Polly. That guy just really needs to let it go. Like, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, if you marketed it just right, if you had like hot chicks in Santa Claus suits all year, people would love it.
If you had hot chicks, regardless of the particular genre that you were promoting, you would be just fine.
Yeah, but see, you have to have something to get the attention because there's so many of them online. So you make it a Christmas theme. I think that would work.
Where was I reading?
I'm full of great ideas.
Well, who's that guy who, what stream was it that I was listening to or something like that? There's Mr. Christmas, and he celebrated Christmas every day for like 5 years straight. He would wake up and have eggnog and cookies and open a present that he had mailed to himself and open Christmas cards he had mailed to himself. He legally changed his name.
That's so sad.
I know. He legally changed his last name to Kringle. The list goes on.
If I had to mail myself a gift, I think it would be a straight razor. Just so that I could get it over with.
Just to end it all?
Just to end it all. Be done with it.
You know, did you just call me a slut, Platty? God damn.
It looks like it, yes.
I ain't no slut. I just pulled up the stream capture and looking at it, and I'm like, my God. Oh, wait a minute. I haven't captured chat. Let me record Platty calling me a slut for all time by capturing the chat.
Oh, there you go.
Let us see. Boom. And that should be it. There's chat. Well,
there you go. So are we keeping this Christmassy, or are we talking about everything?
We could talk about everything, but I would prefer that as we start to move towards the end, we move towards things Christmassy, because I did listen to your stream earlier tonight, Monkey, and it got very vaginal at certain points. There was butt insertion. Yeah, your stream was pretty intense, buddy.
It was a porn stream tonight, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Weibo shared her story of going to the porn store. The list goes on. My God. But
that's what happens when Scribe's not there to rein me in.
Oh, yeah. Scribe's the moral one. Yeah, okay. But did you have a Christmas idea, or did you want to talk about something else that you were concerned?
I was just wondering. I'm trying to convince Lady Monkey. I want your opinion on this.
All right.
I'm somebody who I have no problem waiting. Like Lady Monkey used to try to, irritate me by saying, "Oh, I got you a present and you can't have it yet," and I'd be like, "Okay." I can put things out of my mind very easily, but with Christmas being on Monday, pretty much everybody has to go back to work on Tuesday. So I think we should open all of our presents tomorrow so everybody has an extra day of just enjoying their shit.
Okay.
And Lady Monkey is very traditional. She's like, no, we got to do it on the 25th. But I'm like, but it gives people an extra day to enjoy their stuff. How would you fall on something like that?
Well, if you're going to go that way, I would, if you're going to, and she found this unconvincing, is what you're saying? This is what you did say to her and she found it unconvincing?
Yes, yeah. Well, here's the thing, because she's on the fence about it, because she really wants presents opened.
Mm-hmm.
but she has that traditionalist streak. We get one present on Christmas Eve, the rest Christmas morning. And like I said, for me, it's just like, fuck it, just open it all now.
What?
I don't care.
Well, see, now she kind of, and you robbed me of my suggestion. I was going to say, why don't you go with that tradition of opening one on Christmas Eve? I could never get my parents to accept that idea. They never fell for it. It was always seen as little Polly trying to, get into the presents early. So I never got to do the one present on Christmas Eve, although I think it's a fantastic idea. But I mean, if you're going to come at Lady Monkey with this sort of like convincing thing, I have to say, saying the one extra day to play with everything it's kind of weak. Because I mean, it's not like, you only get to play with it for one day and then it's like Santa comes and steals it all back or something. It's like, it just sounds impatient.
Well, not so much impatient, but if you get like even the opening Christmas a gift on Christmas Eve, we were allowed to do that as children, but it was usually like an hour before bedtime.
And you guys were able to sleep?
No, of course not. I have this brand new toy.
That's what I'm saying. That's a terrible idea to get children to go to bed. Here's a present. Now go to bed.
Yeah, and at that point, I mean, one extra hour to play with the toy, you might as well wait till the next fucking morning. But see, the idea, it's not just, I get what you're saying. It's not like Santa's going to take him back. True. But like, you ever got a new video game and you just play it for like 3 days straight?
Yeah.
So you get this new video game and you have a day to play it. That I hate that. If you can squeeze in an extra day, why wouldn't you squeeze in an extra day? All the presents are already bought.
They are?
I mean,
they're bought for a certain day though.
Yeah, see, I'm not a big on certain days.
You're not quite Grinching, because Grinch would want to take the presents. You want to give the presents, but you want to give them early. So you're kind of like a reverse Grinch.
I'm the anti-Grinch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm okay with being that.
I don't know.
Well, see,
I see. You want my opinion? I think I understand where Lady Monkey's coming from. I'm not trying to be a contrarian, but yeah. I would wait. That's my call.
What's the advantage of waiting?
Well, a number of things. One, tradition. This is the day, so this is the day. It would be like you don't go getting dressed up in your makeup and ask for candy on October 28th.
I would if people wouldn't have me arrested.
But you see my point. There's a certain day that everyone's expecting it,
Okay, let me put it this. Let me ask you this. I'm very anti-Valentine's Day.
Okay.
And not for the it's celebrating women, blah blah blah. To me, it's if you're going to be sweet to your sweetheart, you should do it all the time. And I don't like the idea of a special day for that. So to me, I would rather just give Lady Monkey things throughout the year that I think she would like, rather than just on one specific day. I think that's just so sad. It's like telling people, this is the day you have to be loving.
No, you don't have to be. It's a particular day to espouse such things. That sounds kind of unromantic, Monkey. I'm not. But
you should do it all the time. You should do it all the time.
One can't take romance to the level of Valentine's Day every day. You'd get burned out and she'd get sick of it.
That's actually true. I'm the only man I know, and this is God's honest, true story. I'm the only man I know who's gotten in trouble for saying I love you too much.
You'd be the second one. You'd be the only one I've ever heard of.
My wife looked at me and told me to stop saying it. I was like, damn.
My ex-wife used to tell me, why do you say it so much? I'm like, because I'm thinking it.
I do have to say that it... we do hear you say it a lot on stream. It'll be like, okay, sweetie, love you. And it's like, Monkey's so sweet. It happens all the time, we pick up on it. Oh, so, and before we forget, welcome Chaos Eve.
Hi guys, and Poppy's here too.
Oh, Pop-Tart's here.
Yeah.
Yay.
Yay.
Everybody showed up.
Mary
No,
Shaladay. Shaladay to you, Jordan.
I'm not kidding when I say I'm in as much in love with my wife now as I was when we first got together. I am truly just enamored with this woman. I'm smitten and have been since we met.
See,
I can't help it.
Aw.
So we get into various MGTOW conversations in our Discord, right?
Sure.
And I'm just, just to kind of broach the issue. And we talk about various things, and I don't really think that it's a sustainable argument to go against. And we're talking MGTOW, not,
Angry MGTOW.
Yeah, I was going to call him armored MGTOW, but
You're mixing up two people you don't like there. Honey.
That's true.
Well,
it's true. But we're talking MGTOW.
He probably is armored. He probably wears a helmet most of the time.
He has a condom on 24 hours a day, just in case.
So it's we're talking MGTOW in the classic sense of no marriage, no cohabitation, no kids, and it's for legal protection for those reasons that the system is geared against men in terms of the legal system and divorce proceedings. I don't think it's a sustainable argument to say you're wrong. The legal apparatus for divorce is not aimed against men. I mean, that's a family court treats men equally and fairly with women. I mean, no, it's not. But I still always end up coming out on the side of marriage. But it keeps me worried, Monkey, because it's like, I think, okay, there's people like Monkey and Lady Monkey, high school sweethearts. Look at them. They're together. Grandkids in the whole 9 yards. See, that's what every man wants. But goddamn, it's like, it's these horror stories out there. They'll scare a dude into MGTOW. They will. It's...
Oh, if I was single right now, I would probably take... Oh, hi, Hammer. I would probably take Hammer's view of things. Absolutely.
Hammer popped on? Good.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Just because he's not wrong about the way men are treated. And there's still the hopeless romantic in me. But yeah, I would be scared to be single right now.
That's where I come out. Hammer's heard me say it. Everyone's heard me say it on Discord. It's like, underneath my crusty exterior is an optimist somewhere down there. And especially as it relates to marriage, I would love to think, and still do, that I will find Mrs. Dub out there somewhere. I don't know.
Dude, I would find being single right now scary. Just like all the horror stories of dating. And just, I was like, if I was college aged, I would so not be getting near anybody.
No.
I'd be locked in my room, like, with a shotgun.
And you find it absolutely terrifying.
I don't understand why a woman would be scared at this point, because all
Oh,
she
there-
do is blink her eyes, and the guy's got 10 cops around him. So
Oh, there's like horror stories on the other side too of women. Like, just dating in general now seems so fucking complicated. Like, you need contracts and
Yeah.
Contracts.
like it's so complicated now. Like, I think most people know the story of how I ended up with my man. Was basically, we were friends, then we started hanging out way too much, then he never left, and it's been 9 years now. Like, I don't think that could happen now. That was almost 10 years ago. I don't think that could happen now. Like, somebody would get sued for something.
To sort of like redirect the conversation, Chink Uger. And the things
Oh, God, yes. Oh, yes.
Did anyone watch Sargon's video that he just posted tonight, right after
I
Medicare?
haven't seen it. I saw the title, but I hadn't had a chance to watch it yet.
It's interesting. One can't say that Sargon isn't holding to his principles on this. Chink did nothing wrong. It's like, he said some shit back in the day. He didn't do some shit. He said some shit back in the day, apologized for it. To hold him to this kind of standard is fucked. He's already resigned as the head of the, help me out with this, guys, Democratic Socialists?
Justice Democrats.
Thank you. The Justice Democrats. He already stepped down from it. Because he was asked to. Wild.
Yeah. The one exception I take to that is Cenk didn't just own it himself. He put it on being a conservative.
the first part was acceptable. The second part was screwed.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. The first half of his apology was perfect. Actually, it was perfect. And then he had to throw in, that's when I was a conservative. And that's where I go fuck yourself. Now, I do agree he did nothing wrong. He expressed an opinion. He wasn't saying, you know, go out and rape women or anything. He was saying he thought women were inferior, which is not probably something you want to say if you're the head of the Young Turks.
Right.
But
moral judgment
yeah,
cycle.
this is almost taking the whole sexual harassment scare to the dumbest possible conclusion. Oh no, he wrote something online.
Sargon summed
and it's not something.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. What he said. It's not something he even still had up. This was archived. They dug for this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a hit piece all the way.
I really like Sargon's line. Like, it kind of summed it up after everything. It's like, if you guys, and he's talking to them and their party and Young Turk supporters, if you're not going to accept his apology, then you guys can look forward to a moralizing spiral that will end nowhere but your own destruction. And it's like, yep, because you will find problems with everyone and purge everyone on this basis, because you will find smaller and smaller problems, and you're not going to accept anybody's reformation over time or change over time. Nobody's incapable of change, and hold everyone to everything you can think of. Yeah, that's a mutual condemnation society is not for long in this world.
Did you see that Marilyn Manson jumped in on this whole deal of all people?
No.
The Chink Uyghur thing?
No, the Me Too movement. Yeah, Marilyn Manson to Me Too movement. Say it to the police, not to the press.
Yes, exactly.
He was pretty savage about it too. Oh yeah, he's pretty savage about it. And it was Mercury News, and it seems like he hit the nail on the head for everything that everybody wants to say, but no one will publish it except for this place, the Mercury News. I'd never heard of him before, but the I don't want to sound like Scribe here, but the entry at the Mercury News says the rocker who performs January 16th at the Fox Theater in Oakland was asking during an interview on Britain's Channel Number 4 News about his thoughts on the allegations against movie mogul Harvey Weinstein, specifically whether or not he was surprised to hear that Manson's former love interest Rose McGowan was one of the people who had spoken out against him. I'm not surprised by it, he answered. I didn't really know much about it when I was with her. Then of course, there would be a news item would pop up in the middle of this. Just like
you do sound like Scribe.
Real quick,
Yeah.
Holly. Do you mind if I spread?
Good.
Do you mind if I spread the link around to the stream?
Oh, I already did. Were we supposed to ask?
Well, I was just making sure because usually I spread the Minions link everywhere, but
What, the link to show up and watch the stream and all of the awesomeness to follow?
Yeah.
Spread it far and wide, my friend.
No,
No,
do
yeah.
not want to buy anything from the Birch Lane outfit. Give me a break here. Then he addressed the possible long-term impact that these allegations might have in the entertainment business. I just think that I don't want it to turn into the whole world's attention from the artistic element of Hollywood and movies and films to be ruined by this, he says. It's not to disrespect the people who say the allegations. I'm just concerned over how the situation is being handled currently. Manson went on to offer advice as a better way of making allegations about sexual harassment. So I just think if you have something, you should say it to the police, not to the press, and handle it that way. That's the first and foremost thing you should do. That's what I would do. That's what he was quoted.
Absolutely.
So of all people, Marilyn Manson came out and said the right thing.
And you probably won't hear it anywhere else.
Nope.
Well,
So you won't hear it in the Post or the Times.
Let's touch on the sort of soft.
Manson's a smart dude.
The soft underbelly of the issue, the uncomfortable part of it. So let's say you're somebody and you know you have an accusation, truthful or not, just you know you have an accusation, but you know you can't prove it. So going to the police isn't going to accomplish shit. But you do know going to the press will accomplish a firestorm of shit. Why not go to the press? Do you all think that would not explain a large amount of the going to the press?
Why not go to the police and then the press?
Yeah. I mean, it would certainly legitimize you could say that right off the bat. And I have talked to law enforcement about this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Because right now we literally have just a witch hunt. And there's no proof for anything. Just and actually, Hammer, I was curious about your opinion on this as MGTOW. Literally, all you have to do is say that man sexually harassed me. You don't even have to give details. He sexually harassed me, and you are gone. Nobody will touch you.
Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah.
That's why this makes MGTOW even a bigger thing, because guys are realizing, well, I just don't want to be anywhere near women anymore, because all I should just do is just say, and I'm screwed. There's no burden of proof. That whole process is gone. Now, just point. It's very much a feminist movement. Listen and believe. Whenever I see it in print, what I do is I just type back, "Everybody lies," and I quote Gregory House from House MD.
Yeah, exactly.
Lies.
Now, that's not saying everybody who's making accusations is lying. I mean, especially in a case like Harvey Weinstein, where not only has this been a joke in Hollywood for years, but he had to go get counseling. When you tell me you're going to get counseling for something you're accused of, I'm going to assume you did it.
Or at least you figure this will get you out of hot water with the public, you know?
Yeah.
Rehab for drug works,
but
drugs work. Rehab for, accosting a woman. Why not?
Polly's asking, did you want,
But then,
I mean, not Polly. Platy's asking Polly, did you want her for the stream?
What did you want for me? A good life and lots of happiness. I wanted you to just post the stream link in Discord. That's all. Just post it so the minions know.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt the conversation.
No worries.
Reading chat.
Your disease has been spread. I mean, your stream has been spread.
And and Pop-Tart yet again ruins the conversation. Just awful.
Yeah, I'm a conversation killer. Are you sure you want me here?
Well, I already saw the link in the general. Who posted that? Eve posted it.
Oh, see, Chaos is ahead of the game.
There.
So, Pop-Tart, you said you're drinking tonight. Is that right?
Roboting there a little bit, Chief.
Yeah, you roboted. I didn't know if that was on my side or yours.
Oh shit! I'm not getting. No, it seems like it was intermittent. Okay, that's good. Pop-Tart, you said you are at home drinking tonight. Is that right?
I was drinking, yes.
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be cool and you were like drinking all night long.
I don't have enough money to do that.
It's holiday season. Now's the time to drink.
I did. I went and got my holiday booze today. Pretty happy about that. Got a bottle of Maker's Mark.
What booze did you get?
Bottle of Maker's Mark, bottle of Jägermeister, bottle of vodka, and a 12-pack of extra dry cider.
I agree with 3 of those.
How smashed are you going to be?
That's an awful lot of alcohol.
Smashed.
Smashed enough to yell at me for no apparent reason.
That happened one time, and you've never let it go.
Twice. And it was funny. I wasn't even mad about it because you'd yell at me and then all of a sudden you would be really nice again. So it was just hilarious.
Oh, Inquisitor's here, and he's happy he caught the stream. Good.
And oddly, you were screaming at me about really nice things. You're like, you and your pretty hair over there, you fucking pretty hair person, fucking shit. So,
wow,
like, pretty funny when you're drunk, man.
That sounds pretty fucking drunk, I gotta say.
So you were like mad at me, but at least it was for a good reason.
I really like that Inquisitor's here because usually he's very passed out by this point. I love having Inquisitor around.
Really
Not only is he a great guy to stream with and talk to, and he's interested in all sorts of things I am, but he's a bigger alcoholic than I am. So I always feel like I'm much more on the narrow compared to him. If he goes away, my self-judgment will triple, I'm sure.
Why isn't he on the stream?
He wasn't in Discord at the time that I set it up.
Yeah, why did you message me through Twitter? Like, that was really weird.
Because
You've never done that.
Because it's not a poly stream if there are not technical difficulties, and I could not get Discord to launch on this laptop.
Oh.
I uninstalled it and then reinstalled it and still couldn't get it to launch, so I couldn't send people the link via Discord, so I did it via Twitter.
Well, at least you figured out a way around it. It just confused me for a few minutes.
Yeah, I sent Monkey the link over Twitter. And I'm like, hey, Monkey, can you go on to Discord and send them the link? And he's like, well, I can't do that, but I could do it by Twitter. And I'm like, oh, so could I. Shit. The technical difficulties make it charming. So,
Charming, that's the word we use.
Yeah, that's what we keep telling ourselves.
well, okay. I usually hear much
Hey,
harsher
it's not-
things, but I'll take that.
Well, it's not just your streams either. It's all of our streams. Like, it seems like something has to go a little wonky on like everything.
So,
Or it's not one of ours.
Remember in a previous Christmas stream, I was asking, everybody was there, and I forget who was there at the time. I think Hammer and Monkey were. I'm trying to remember, but he was like, when do you do Christmas dinner? And is it Christmas Eve or Christmas Day? And do you do the turkey thing? You know, that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
My whole Christmas plans have been thrown asunder. Christmas dinner will now be Christmas Eve, so tomorrow night. So I've got like 100,000 things to do tomorrow night, including enjoying Christmas dinner, because my parents decided to change the tradition that's been that tradition ever since I was alive. So I'm a little pissed.
Ask them if you can open your presents then, since they changed things.
You know, that's not half bad. It's because I already expressed my dismay, so they already know I'm displeased with it. They're like, you know, come on, what's the big deal? And I'm like,
see, you're that traditionalist.
I am. You asked them, because you asked me when I was the only one on. Do they see a problem?
Sure. Would you guys see a problem with opening all the presents on Christmas Eve so that you have the whole day of Christmas to enjoy them? Oh, actually, part of Christmas Eve and all day Christmas Day to enjoy them.
I have friends who do that, who have always done that. They've always opened their presents on Christmas Eve.
We totally cheated because my kids are going out to their dads now, so they opened all their presents like yesterday. No.
See, Lady Monkey is a very traditionalist person when it comes to gifts. You have to open them like on your birthday, and they have to be wrapped. That drives me insane. They have to be wrapped.
Yeah, that
I'm
annoys
like, just
me too.
fucking throw it in a Walmart bag and hand it to me. I'm like,
no, I like the unwrapping
But,
because it's part of the expectation and the anticipation, and you know.
It annoys me. It makes trash, and it makes me do extra work for a gift.
wait. What's the difference of pulling it out of Walmart bag and unwrapping it?
What's the difference? The difference is clear.
Yeah.
The Walmart bag is, well, a fucking Walmart bag. The other thing has like reindeer and Santa faces and Christmas scenes on it, and it's Christmas colors and.
Well,
So
for Christmas, sure. I'm talking about for like a birthday.
So she goes and gets like balloon paper or whatever the fuck, like Christmas wrapping or birthday wrapping
Well, no,
paper.
she wraps Christmas or birthday presents, Christmas presents. Yeah,
I'm
more if my gifts upstairs were in a Walmart bag, I'd be fine with it.
Yeah, I guess it
would
shows a
look
little
funny.
bit of dedication to it, I guess, maybe. As a person giving the gift took the time to actually sit down and wrap it. Makes it kind of extra special.
You know, I haven't wrapped presents for my kids for Christmas in 3 years.
Okay,
we just set them out like on separate sides.
Have we stumbled across some kind of secret divide between humanity? like the people, like the one where it's like people who face forward in the shower and people face away from the water in the shower.
What if you do
Great.
both?
Like you start discussing this with people.
I was about to say, like, you can't do both. Like, I kind of turn. Like,
I do both. Yeah. Sometimes I like
Yeah,
the
but,
water
like-
on my ass, and sometimes I like it on the front.
Well, because my family's kind of spread it out into different places. My younger sister's in California, my older brother's in Philadelphia, and I'm a stone's throw from New York State. What we do is Christmas Eve, we spend at our individual houses with, my brother's got a girlfriend, my sister's got a boyfriend, and I have my girls with me here, and we spend Christmas Eve together, separately. Christmas Day, we all meet at my mom's house, and we have like a second Christmas.
Oh, okay.
So I guess for me, it's both.
I'm all for multiple Christmases. That sounds like a great idea.
Right?
Well, see,
Yeah.
The reason this came up is because most years Christmas isn't on a fucking Monday. And this year, everybody's going to have to go back to work on Tuesday, like almost immediately after the day. So I figured just give them a little more time with the gifts.
Well, see, you didn't mention that earlier. That's a strong argument.
I
right
did
there.
too.
No, you didn't. Everyone going to work. You just said everybody gets more time to enjoy their presents.
Yeah, that's what I said before.
Yeah, but you didn't relate it to having to go to work. See, Monkey, you got to work on the emotions with women. This is what you say. I want to see Grand Monkey enjoy her presents.
Excuse me. You realize this is recorded, right? I said that exact same thing.
Okay, and I'm the one that's been drinking, y'all.
I make no claims to paying full attention. What the hell?
It's just you and me talking, but I wasn't listening. Thank you. Thank you.
That was very early on in the stream when I was still trying to get people here. I have a multitude of excuses. I mean, reasons. It's okay.
That's why I love my medicine. I can blame everything on that.
Jesus Christ. I was about to open a bottle of cider. I'm so glad that before I started streaming, I'm so glad I didn't, because I'd be confused and trying to keep up and it wouldn't work.
Dude, you can barely keep this thing together while sober.
You don't.
I say drink.
See, Pop-Tart gets it. Not Inquisitor. Fuck. Chaos. The first time you run an Inception stream, you'll see. I'm juggling 8 balls at the same time here. It's.
That's what I mean. You can barely keep handle on it when you're sober, and you want to drink on top of it.
I say drink. I want to see how bad it gets.
Yeah.
Come on.
Oh God, the stream will crash.
If you're juggling 8 balls, who are the other 3 guys?
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to say it.
Monkey, that was beneath you, man. You could do better than that.
Monkey, you almost made me spit my nog all over the floor.
Oh, I have an issue spreading off of.
Of course you do.
Yeah, I know. I have yet another axe to grind. I have an issue that spread off of your stream earlier today, Monkey. You guys got into some serious philosophy bashing on your stream. I happen to have a bachelor's degree in philosophy.
And that in a quarter will get you a bubblegum ball.
Or a bachelor's degree where you double major in philosophy and psychology will give you the prerequisites to get a master's degree and now a doctorate. It was
in philosophy?
No, Lord, no.
See, even you know, Lord, no. That's your answer to a doctorate in philosophy. So even you're like, yeah, it's worthless.
It is not worthless. And that's my exact point. I personally did not want to pursue it. That does not mean it is not of worth for somebody else to.
Philosophy. You're getting your doctor. You're getting your doctor in something, aren't you?
Yes, political science.
Political science. That's probably sci.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jack Cochran says Polly has a useless degree confirmed.
Well,
yeah, Jack's here. Thank you, Jack. Thank you for backing me up.
Well, no, see, but this is the thing. It's interesting that Jack showed up for that. So I asked Jack in chat, and then Monkey was nice enough to ask him, "What is it you have your degree in?" See, if somebody's determined to be a prick, resolved to be a prick, insists upon being a prick, you can be a prick about anyone's fucking degree in anything. Jack has a degree in education, and then focused on the various things that he explained. And it's like, so if you want to be a prick, you could just be like, hey, so you got a degree where you studied and learned how to study and learn? That sounds useful. Pretty redundant.
Well, yeah.
But I mean, that's not what it is. That's being a judgmental ass.
Well, I am a judgmental ass.
Well, let's just peel back the layers of assery here and just see how deep this goes.
It's hard to call somebody a name when they admit to it, you know?
Well, I've had people my whole life tell me, you can't judge people. Like, yeah, I fucking can. Watch. I'll do it. I think philosophy is very interesting. I do. I just think as a degree, as something to study other than as a exercise in mental masturbation, it really doesn't serve a big purpose.
Well,
it's not like, and
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, no, you sound like an and I want to hear the whole thing before I ripped it to shreds, you know.
Also, it's not like, and I have said this for so many things. Unless you just have money to burn, I don't think college is necessary for most careers. I think we have way overplayed it. That's why we have so much debt in this country for college kids, because they're going to school for shit they're never going to fucking use. And as somebody who worked at Walmart, I cannot tell you how many people came to me with degrees that ended up running a cash register for me. And because of that, I mean, I have no problem with somebody who wants to go and study philosophy. Philosophy is interesting, but as a practical matter, it's not like you're going to go get a job philosophizing.
Well, that new philosophy factory did open up, so
yeah, I mean,
this, which is like one of the oldest jokes in and around philosophy, right? That's, you know, that new philosophy factory. This is the thing. You're making that is a sound point, but not about what you were talking about in the stream. It's like, is it useless? It is as useless as a whole swath of degrees are if one boils down a university education to being job training.
Sure.
Now, if you want to go down along the lines of the argument about college writ large, yeah, you're not going to get much disagreement from me. It's like somebody is interested in not the background, the education, learning about the world, how it works, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All you want is job training. Well, then, yeah, by all means, go to a trade school or get right into the industry and get on the job training, by all means. And there, argument done. To beat up on a particular field, I mean, good God, if the whole world were populated with nothing but engineers and scientists, it would be a very dry place indeed.
I think for the most part, a history degree is pretty fucking worthless unless you're going to be a teacher. The most degrees that we give out are pretty fucking worthless. I wasn't just bashing on philosophy. That's just what had come up.
Gotcha. I guess...
Here, if you want, you name a degree and I'll tell you if it's worthless or not.
I think the major point is that it's one thing when you have a few people who have doctorates in philosophy, because then you need people to continue to teach that. But when you have a large chunk of your students that are going into fields that are utterly useless for real world application, it's really kind of a dumb thing to be doing. I mean, it's just wasting their money and time, and they're just going to end up like Monkey said, working in Walmart.
Yeah, like gender studies and shit.
Well, it's not just a degree. It's not simply the degree that's the issue, because you can get a degree in languages as long as that degree in languages is German or French or Spanish, something like that. If you get a degree in languages and your primary language is Latin, then it becomes a useless degree.
What if it's a degree in English and you already speak English and you live in an English country?
There's still a lot of things about English that the average person doesn't know. And studying something like English is going to increase your vocabulary by leaps and bounds.
Okay, it will, but large amounts of what you end up doing in a bachelor's degree in English is studying literature. You're not studying the techniques of grammar and so forth, and realize that you are impugning Scribe.
Yeah. I'll impugn Scribe. Scribe will tell you his degree is worthless.
This is the thing: is it a practical application? And that's the distinction that I want to make. Like, there's the point of like, there's too many people that are being cranked out with university degrees. Agreed. Well, there's too many people that are wasting tens of thousands of dollars when they could be going to. And Hammer, you and I have talked about this. Why would you go to Yale for that shit and pull up I don't know how many tens into the hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt when you could have went to a state university, gotten a quality education, and saved yourself untold amounts of money for a degree that largely showed that you were capable of showing up somewhere 4 years on time and meet a deadline.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What would you?
They're just paper.
What would you do with a philosophy degree?
You mean particularly over any other degree? Is that what you're asking?
No. What would you do with it if all you had was your bachelor's and you went out into the real world? What would be the application?
Yeah, like the practical application.
The same application that a political science bachelor would have, or et cetera, a whole number of things. Fine arts of any stripe or variety, whatever interests you.
That wasn't actually an answer.
Well,
now you're understanding.
It was. It just wasn't the answer you were hoping for, which is nothing. But I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. It was
a philosophical answer. That's
right. Don't assume that you know what answer I wanted. I wanted an actual answer.
That was an actual answer. Anything that you would do normally with any other degree of that type. It's not dramatically different with philosophy than it is with any other degree. You're over specifying.
Well, I would
okay,
actually
but what's an
disagree with that.
example?
Well,
that?
hang on. Like with poli sci, I mean, you could there's political work you could go into. You could go into journalism with doing different column writing for newspapers, that kind of thing. Becoming a columnist for a TV news. Those are all things that a poli sci degree will help you with. I've never heard of a job where you need philosophy as training.
Oh, I have, but not at the bachelor level.
At
You would
the
need to
philosophy factory.
No, you would need hospitals are a big one. They have a medical ethics board at every hospital. Everyone on there basically has a master's degree in philosophy because they don't teach that in medicine. They don't teach it in biology. You go to philosophy for ethics. The majority of the students that are in first year.
Wait. Isn't the whole purpose of philosophy to argue against ethics?
Against it? It's no. What?
Yeah, to prove that ethics don't even matter. That's where it's at today, isn't it?
Wow, who are you hanging around? That is a dour emo bunch, man. No. Like John Stuart Mill came up with utilitarianism, Kant and his categorical imperative and so forth. No, it's structural ethics comes out of philosophy. How do you know that something is ethical versus not? Because you constructed a system of ethics based upon a system of morality that determines what is right or wrong. And they argue accordingly. Is that killing that person or is it letting them die? Well, hospitals deal with that shit all the time. And that's why every medical ethics board has a whole crap ton of people with philosophy graduate degrees on it. Because they can actually argue the point to some kind of rational conclusion.
You broke up there for me. I missed half of what you said.
Shit.
I'm so sorry.
No. I apologize for technical errors here. You can't make an argument about, like no one can, an argument about something being ethical or not ethical if it's not based upon a system of ethics. They're not going to teach that in medicine, and they're not going to teach it in law. Law is not about what's ethical. It's about a codified system of law. It's different. That's why every medical ethics board at every hospital has a number of people with a graduate degree in philosophy on it. As one example, you said, give me an example. There's one. It's not arguing that ethics don't exist. That's what nihilist potheads do. No.
No. I'm not saying that they say ethics don't exist. I'm saying that they can take it to the point where they say ethics don't necessarily matter because everything we do is made up by us. And if everything we do is made up by us and there's a natural order, it really matters.
There's a species of like a certain branch of a school of thought, if you will, where that's the case. They're called atheists, and they're a dark, dour bunch. That was my stab at the night at atheism. Yeah, that's a certain school of thought, but it's not prevalent. That there is such a thing as ethical, and there is not such a thing as ethical. That's why Sam Harris gets so much of a reputation because he tried to come up with a systematized structure of ethics that can exist on individual imperatives alone, largely borrowed from other philosophers, but whatever.
No, I don't hate philosophy. I think it's very interesting. I think thought experiments are great. Don't just shit on philosophy. Ask me about any degree. I'll be happy to shit on most of them.
That's the second time you've said that. Are you surprised that somebody hasn't taken you up on the opportunity to have you shit on them yet?
Oh, no. Because see, what you have to understand is when I do this and say things like this, I'm not. You took a little bit of offense to it. I mean, no offense by it. It's just my opinion on what it is. And if you enjoy it, I think you should do it. My philosophy in life is do what makes you happy. My opinion doesn't really matter.
No. I mean,
I'm happy to argue it. Don't get me wrong.
To be clear, I did not take offense off of it in the same way that I'm.
Yeah, you did.
Well, I can.
Don't get philosophical with me.
Well, let me propose this to you. You have a YouTube channel with a whole number of things that you have taken opposition to and argued against. Did you take offense at every one of those things because you chose to give voice to the opposition you felt?
I would say at some level, yeah, there has to be an offense to what I've done, or I see what it is as offensive, but not in the I see what you're getting at. No, I don't get like mad about it or beat my hands as I'm typing or, but yeah, there's some offense that's taken there. Absolutely.
I guess if you're willing to spread the category of offense so wide as to include you have offended somebody's reasoning process such that, I think you're wrong on that, therefore I will argue against it. That's where I was coming from. The only moment that I felt outright emotion over it is when there were a couple of comments that were spread into something I think fairly could be described as arrogant condescension, which, yeah, every time it happens, I get upset.
Is he roboting a lot for anyone else?
Aw, am I?
Yeah.
Not that much for me.
Sorry, guys. I hear a tad.
I can still make out most of what you're saying.
Sorry about that. I hear a tad of roboting from you guys, but it's definitely not enough where I can't understand what you're saying. I'm looking at the feed. The feed looks strong. So here, let me turn down my bandwidth.
The only thing that's really offensive on the net is Raleigh Dennis. Everything else is colored bubbles.
Actually, I've gotten a lot of crap recently because I'm actually vocal on that I'm not sending my kids to college. Like, I'm not going to do it.
Are you afraid
They're
of
all
what they
sending
might
to trade
encounter
school.
there? Like social justice on
Well,
campus?
That's partially it. Not that I'm afraid like they'll come home and be, an SJW or anything. Mostly that they'll get there and probably get their ass kicked by a bunch of weird people dressed as the opposite gender. Because my girls would just look at them like they're insane. But mostly for kind of the reason that I don't really see a use in spending that much money and going in so much debt for something that you probably won't be able to use practically. My daughters both have career goals and they have trading schools for both. So that's what we're doing.
Okay,
Yeah,
let me
you're
ask.
better off with trade school.
Let me better off generally, but we seem to keep coming back to that. Is the only use to be taught something is for job training, so such that one can perform a job. Is that the only use for it? I guess that's where we're coming from different perspectives. Where people are like, well, what kind of job are you going to get? What are you going to do this? And
you have to pay to learn. Because I haven't been in school in a long time, but I go to the libraries quite a lot. I constantly am on the internet learning things. It's to the point now that do I need to go spend $30,000 to sit in a classroom and learn, or can I learn on my own?
Right. You absolutely can learn on your own. I'm a huge proponent of that. Absolutely.
I think you can absolutely go to learn just for the knowledge value of it. I've also heard about the social aspect of college, which is fine. But yeah, learning in a structured way like that, the end goal generally is to get a job. Why else would you spend $100,000 to learn for 4 years?
Well, let's talk about that for a second, because it's a fairly recent conception that universities should be for job training. They weren't for the longest time. You take a look at all the founding fathers. What did they study in university? When they a lot of them, sans Washington, of course, went to college. What did they study? Scripture, Latin, and the classics. That was an education for centuries. And why? Because it gives you knowledge of the world. It makes you a man from their conception of how these things worked. And that's that. It's like a 21st century idea that college should be job training.
We should probably.
I'm thinking. I'm not ignoring you.
I'm like, did my stream cut off, or that was nowhere near a mic drop statement? What the hell?
I mean, no. Well, it was a very true statement but the world was a very different place back then.
It was. I find this very interesting, like the parsing of the difference between just Conception University, and I realized that I've thought about this, and like I've sort of like opposed this, like university is job training idea, and it's like, am I being naive? I think I might be being naive. Like I've considered that. I do think what's a great thing about a university degree, when you go get a bachelor's, you're going to have only a certain amount of your courses dedicated towards your major. Well, obviously, why they call it a major. Not in my case, because I double majored in philosophy and psychology, but the other parts of them you have to take outside your field. It's required, and you have to take a science component. So everybody who studies fine arts, you're doing like Maltese basket weaving from the 15th century, that kind of thing. You have to take a science component. You have to take, and so on, because the idea is well-roundedness, because you've obtained, quote, a degree of knowledge. That's the idea. And it's like, well, that's a very high-flown idea for a very cynical society to have, and that's kind of awesome, actually.
I think it's the employment that's changed, because employers aren't looking at, do you have a degree? That's not their point anymore. Now they want to know if you have a degree in what you're going to be doing.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Back in the day, oh, you went to a college? Really? Well, we want you. That's all they cared about back then.
Well,
now
honestly,
if you have a degree in American contemporary literature and you're going for a science position, maybe computer science or something like that, they don't want to talk to you. Do you have a computer science degree? Yeah, okay, that's the guy we want to talk to, because we're going to have him do computer science. So I think employment makes a big difference between what happened then and what happens now.
well, I kind of have the other side of that, because it's like so many people have degrees now. It's like so flooded that even CVS, like, I'm trying to get a job anywhere. CVS wants me to have like a college degree to be able to work the register there.
That's fine.
And I'm like, for what? I need to know philosophy to be able to count to 10. I mean, what's the issue? You know what I mean? And so, I mean, yeah, McDonald's, Kroger's was asking for like, supporting documents and degrees and stuff for, working in a deli.
Yeah, I think Hammer hit it right on the head. See what I did? I didn't even mean to do that. I think he got it exactly right when he said that it's the jobs that have changed, and they have. And these days, I still remember this. So this was almost 2 decades ago now. I was looking through the classifieds ads, and there was a job for a fork truck operator, and it required an associate's degree to drive a goddamn fork truck.
Yeah, it's just,
I ran into the very same thing. I was applying for a lab tech position, and I have 11 years of work experience, and all my friends are jealous, because when I got out of high school, I went straight into a job. I didn't go to college. I just started working. And they all went to college, and they have these degrees now that they can't do anything with and get hired in their fields because they have no work experience. With me, it was the complete opposite situation, where I had work experience out the ass, but nobody wanted to hire me because I didn't have a degree of some kind.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it's just, I think it's the oversaturation of degrees, because back in the day, say even in the 50s, like it was a big deal for your son to go to college. And like, it was, you knew he was going to get out and get a good job, because not a lot of people could go to college back then. Now it's like everybody goes to college, everybody can get a loan, everybody can go for something. So, there's so many degrees out there. I think that's the big difference, because back in the day, being college really meant something. Like if you went through all that and you were very educated, it was a huge deal, because not everyone could do it. But now it's like, you see the retarded people on TV and the pictures from college, I'm pretty sure they have the IQs of like 60. They can go to college, so why does it matter? Sorry, I went on.
I think that employers are not so concerned about degrees as they used to be. They want you to have a piece of paper. They want you to have something, even if it's an associate's, maybe even a bachelor's. But the jobs that I've been able to get have not been because of my degree. That just got me in the door. What really got me my jobs was, I have my A plus, my Net plus, my MCSD, my MCSE, and a CCNA. When you say that to a potential computer company, they're like, oh, okay, well, then not only do you have the paper that gets you in the door, but you have to actually know what you're talking about, and you can function in the job, and that gets you the position. If you're going to go to college, get a degree in what you love and a degree in what you need, even if they're just 2 associate's degrees. Because, in the eyes of most employers, they're going to say, you double majored? Yeah, they're only associates, but there's still 2 degrees.
Yeah.
I got a degree in American contemporary literature, and I got a degree in computer science. I use my degree in computer science, and I savor my degree in literature.
Now, you nailed so much with that second part. You know, it makes me think back to Chain of Command, that episode of TNG. Yeah, I brought Trek up. Deal with it. Where the Cardassian, played by Warner, I forget his first name, is painting Picard, and he's like,
Carl.
Carl,
Yeah.
is it?
I think it's Carl, Kurt, something like that.
Yeah, and he's pressuring
Good.
Picard about, like, no, the military's taken over, and we, you know, we are supplying the people with food, we are giving the people jobs, and that's what they want. And Picard looks at him and says, their bellies are full, but their spirits are empty.
Exactly.
And I'm like,
That's
is that not the
profound
point
statement.
of living in the quote-unquote first world? Is that not the whole point, is to have a knowledge of world history, to have an awareness of... I mean, again, this is where I start to feel like I'm like a naive, cloud in the heads kind of guy, but it just... Those are good things. And I remember listening in Monkey's stream earlier, a number of anecdotal points were brought up. I'm not saying they're not true, because I've met people like that, where it's like, you know, they end up being nihilists, and they just, you know, everything becomes meaningless because the way Monkey said, they get inside their own heads. Absolutely. But I've met a lot of people in poli-sci that just spend all of their time thinking structurally about the concepts of various, like, political philosophy and political realities and so on, that the practical concerns of the real world and the application of this stuff, they get lost in it. They never find their way out of, like, guns and bombs. They just, you know, this tank had this specifications and this and that, and they sound like a hyper gaming nerd. And I say that with a lot of affection. They, you know what I mean? Like,
That's
it's like
better.
every field is going to have people who spurg out in it and get lost up in their own heads. Yeah. Was it the field that did it to them, or was it their personality type that they would have spurged out on something else in their personal life if they hadn't had that?
Yeah, David Warner, by the way.
David Warner. Okay.
Yeah.
You still with us there, Monkey?
Yeah, I'm just listening.
Okay.
But we put him asleep. Now, Monkey's one of the people who can actually listen to talk about Star Trek and not fall asleep.
Right.
Oh, I love Trek.
I especially love
Golden
that
Thread.
order. So good.
Yeah,
Sorry.
we'll put everybody else to sleep,
Yes,
but we'll
no.
have a good time.
No, it's 3-2. You're outvoted. It's
I'm just listening.
I don't know. I would I guess I could sum up so much of it as, like, you know, is it worth the money to do that? I come back to this again, is when people talk about student debt. When you look at the numbers and you adjust for two different things, take a look at what the average student debt is when you look at only students who went in-state and students who work during the summer. That debt suddenly plummets radically, all the way down to like $20,000. It's like, so you went to an out-of-state university because you wanted to go to the University of Honolulu for all the obvious reasons, or you wanted to go to an Ivy League, whatever, Dartmouth, what have you, and you didn't work at all. And it's like, and you accumulated a massive amount of debt. And did you finish it in 4 years? Let's not forget about the students who take 5, which is pretty damn common. As soon as you adjust for those things, college debt drops radically. So a point
I
of
still think
consideration.
it's too high. I mean, I understand the elite schools like Harvard and Yale and such, but I just think that colleges are charging way too much. They're building these beautiful, gorgeous campuses, and they need ways to pay for everything they do. So they charge the students out the ass to cover for the costs.
Oh,
It's not only that. Look at the amount of administrators that they have now compared to how they used to.
did you guys read the article about Wilfrid Laurier? God, yes, them again. That they had a program to give an increase to all of their female administrators and associate professors and professors. The grand total of that, and that was the virtue. Do you have the right genitals? Yeah, you get the raise, just for the women, to account for cost, or salary disparity, because that's the logic, right? If you're a woman, you're automatically getting paid less. And it's the former vice president of the university said, I know that this isn't the case because I was on the hiring committee that hired the last round of professors, however, you know, and it's like, we hired men, we hired women, and we hired them all at the same wage. How do I know that? Because I was the one who was part of the committee that hired them. Nonetheless, that cost happened, or that salary increase happened for all the women. It was retroactive for a number of years, which also affects their retirement pension, you know, for that amount, for a grand total of $680,000 is how much it cost them to do that.
Damn.
That's actually disgusting.
Mhm.
all for
Right.
ideology, for an ideological belief. And oh God, the committee, the finding committee that did this research to determine that yes, these disparities exist because they knew they existed before they looked, right? And they found that they did indeed exist. And here's how much that we should put in to do it. There were only 2 men on the committee who were non-voting members of that committee, and 3 of the people that were on that 8-person committee were professors or associate professors that were female, so they benefited from their own decision financially.
Wow. That's borderline corruption.
Border? Really? That's pretty generous of you.
Yeah.
I mean, that's fucking. It's okay. Corruption, maybe not, but it's certainly a conflict of interest.
It's certainly not ethical.
Yeah. And you determined that because you worked yourself there philosophically, that it was unethical?
I don't want to speak right now because anything I say is going to come off like petty.
Against who?
Oh,
against,
get petty.
Against me? What did I do?
Why do you always assume it's you, boy? Why?
Really, that sentence just explains it all, doesn't it?
Because I call you by a different name. I call everybody by a different name.
I know. We love to pick on each other, and it's good times. But by all means, petty away.
Well, just like that amount of money you said, just like I don't know, it was a little soul crushing a little bit because like I'm trying to get at least $10,000 to get an eye removed. You know, and just that amount you said, I mean, I could get like almost all my health problems fixed like immediately with that much money. So that amount just hurts. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It ended up being $6,000 in the upfront per employee that fell into those categories, and then the retroactive funds will make it more because they're backdating that pay.
And they voted it for themselves, so of course that
But isn't that what our government does? I mean, Congress is constantly voting for their own pay increases.
That's one thing that I've never bothered to look into in any great detail, and I think I know why. You know, same reason I don't watch an EC on videos. I know it's just going to make me mad.
Yeah,
it's depressing.
Yeah, it is.
Like a complete transition with that kind of money.
Right?
I meant to ask, is it state per state, or is it like insurance carrier different? Is transition hormone therapy, that's all I'm asking is the hormone therapy, covered by certain medical plans?
Yes, certain ones.
Okay.
I haven't looked into whether mine does it or not, but
do you have a general idea, just again general, nothing I'm going to hold you to, how much a full course of hormone therapy costs in that regard?
it's a lot. I know that the hormones themselves are expensive, and then you have to pay the doctors, and you have all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty expensive.
And does that not, or does it? I'm asking because I don't know. That's in tandem with ongoing psychological or psychiatric therapy and care, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, wow.
Well, to an extent, I actually had this discussion with Platty the other day. There comes a certain point after you've reached a point in your transition where you don't have to go to therapy as often or don't have to go anymore at all, because once you've reached a point where the dysphoria is alleviated enough to where you can function normally without it affecting your life, you really don't need to go to this. Like, if your parents die in a tragic car accident and you're really messed up about it,
mm-hmm.
and you go see a therapist about it to get past it and get over it. Once you're past it and over it and moved on with your life, you don't really need to keep going to therapy.
According to the internet, the cost of therapy, mental therapy, hormones, doctor's visits, and lab tests, the cost of transition averages is about $20,000 over a 2-year period.
Oh, I would have thought a lot higher.
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
Well,
I'm really
that's
lucky with my current insurance plan is that for my therapist, I don't have to pay anything. I can just
Wow.
go see the therapist, and because I double checked and I'm like, wait a minute, I can go see a psychiatrist and not have to pay any copays, no nothing. And they're like, yeah, you're good. I was like, okay. So
twenty
so far I
thousand
haven't had
dollars
to pay anything
is
out.
is just therapy and hormones.
Yeah, that's,
Transition surgery is anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 on top of that.
yeah. The top surgery is significantly less. That ranges anywhere from like I want to say 3 to 10,000, but depending on where you go. But surgery is upwards of $50,000, and yeah, no, fuck that shit.
The top surgery is not just breast implants. For people who don't know this, not that I'm an
Yeah.
expert, I'm sure Chaos can correct me on some. She's probably done a lot more.
Well, for me, it would be for if you're going from female to male, it would be a more complicated surgery because you're removing the mammary glands and stuff like that. So
well,
I don't know a whole lot about that
well,
one.
for women, it's people who are born with a female body. Getting breast implants is easier because the skin is already stretched. For
Right.
men, they're basically, except for man boobs, they're basically flat chested, and the way the pectoral muscles set on the male frame is different. So the process of getting a female shape on the top is much harder and much more expensive. A lot of surgery to make sure the breast pocket's the right size and the right shape and stuff like that. Things you don't have to worry about when you're dealing with a female frame to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then you also have the feminizing your face. Usually, most of them do that through surgery too.
Yeah, that can vary depending on what you get done. Usually, it's things that a lot of women could go and get done plastic surgery wise, like changing their nose or lowering their hairline, things like that.
Shaving down the jawline.
Right.
Oh, I have a question that's related to insurance, and there's two people here who can actually give me their opinion. Monkey and Pop Tart.
Mm-hmm.
Is vaping good
Gay?
enough
Yes.
for? Yeah, go to hell. Is it good enough of a smoking cessation technique, and is it healthy enough in and of itself that it should be subsidized or paid for by healthcare?
No.
No.
Now,
There's not a lot, since it hasn't really been around a lot there, that we can't say for sure it's healthier than smoking. I mean, we could say like in the short term, it definitely is. Like my sister, after she started vaping, she got off oxygen. I mean, when she started vaping, yeah, she got off her oxygen. She can move around. She can breathe well now. But I mean, in the long term, we have no idea what it's going to do to her lungs. So, and also, I don't think that insurance should have to pay for any addictions.
So along those lines, if somebody went methadone treatment should not be covered for recovering heroin addicts.
Not long term, no. Because I know methadone. I know people who have been on methadone for like 12 years, and I'm like, I think you're
wait a
missing the
minute.
point.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
Like if
cessation.
it's like a year or two just to wing you off where you're a healthy person, that's fine. If you're on it for a really long time, then no, I don't think insurance should pay for that. Because at that point, you're just using your insurance to get high.
Jack Cochran is like, just get fat, you'll get man boobs. It's like, yeah, that's not going to help with body image issues, man. That's going to make it worse.
Yeah.
It's
But then you get back boobs too, and trust me, those are depressing as fuck.
Hey guys.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I need to go to bed.
No, by all means. Thanks for hanging in,
Monkey.
Monkey.
You're so terrible for leaving us. Oh my god.
I feel bad leaving a stream before it's over. I really do. But
No, not
yeah.
at all. I never run them that long, so it's all good. Thanks for showing up. Great time.
Yeah. I'll talk to you guys later.
Have a good night.
Bye,
Good night,
Monkey.
Monkey. Good night, Monkey.
I thought
I love
methadone,
you.
prescription methadone, carried with it the possibility that you would stop breathing and you wouldn't recover if you did. Someone had to make you start breathing again.
Mm-hmm.
So how can you be on methadone long term without dying? Because at some point you're going to stop breathing and someone's not going to always be there.
I mean, that is a side effect of it, but most of the time you don't. I mean, my mom was on it for 10 years, I think, and she never had that issue. I actually do know a lot about methadone because my mom was one of the people who would not get off of it. They started saying it was for her pain management after a while.
Who's they? The doctors or she did?
Well, the shady ass doctor she found.
Yeah. You know, I mean, I was just going to say that's pretty shady. Like, you think a doctor after a while would just be like,
oh no,
I've been writing this script for a while, you know.
Yeah, bring in $150. I'll write you any script you want.
Fuck.
Oh,
she would go in and come out with 5 scripts. And I mean, she spent like 5 minutes in the office. So, you know, there wasn't any actual. And it turns out, I mean, he was, you want to know the worst part?
There's a worse part?
He was, oh, yeah. This wasn't a doctor's office. This was a recovery center. This was a rehab. That's the worst part.
So I had a friend the other day say, there's no difference between a pain clinic and an opium den.
Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on the pain clinic because I know most of them around here won't actually give you pain medicine.
No, just right. True. I think I mean, they're going to give you scripts for it, but
no. Like they made the laws a lot stricter around here.
Okay.
So now they call it pain management.
Okay.
And they try to give you like physical therapy to do and like see how strong of Tylenol you need. But they try really hard to give you nothing that is considered a narcotic or opioid or anything like that.
But that almost sounds reasonable.
Yeah, except that you're still in horrible fucking pain all the time.
I know, well, it's like, so you're trying to say that you think that type of pain management is ineffective largely?
I think it is. I think it's good for some people with certain problems. I think for some people, like say for Monkey, which I know he's against doing narcotic pain pills, but you know, not a lot else is working for him for his situation. There are some situations where you're always going, like my RA. I'm always going to be in some level of pain. It's never going to go away. There's nothing that makes it go away. So, you know, you could tell me physical therapy all day. Actually, most of the time that just makes it hurt more and makes me like, you know, hit somebody.
I love Jack with the yoga, the new treatment for heroin withdrawal.
Right. That's basically what yeah, I've actually had, there are some people around here who are like that. They're like, you know, it's like, it's a spiritual center to get you off of your, you know, dependencies. So like if you
go ahead.
Oh, so like if you, I mean, they even take smokers. If you're a cigarette smoker, come in and they'll help you. And you know, they go all the way up to like heroin and shit. I'm like, yeah, spiritual center. Like drink, you know, fucking grass juice and do some yoga with some hot stones, and you won't want the heroin anymore.
Like I'm trying to picture the first like short-term period of like 2 to 3 weeks, month, whatever, that they transitioned over to being not pain clinics but pain management centers like in your area. Yeah. And it's like all the people coming in, I mean, there's some rich comedy gold there. They're like, so yeah, I'm feeling a lot of pain in my lower back after this injury I had years ago from the workplace doc, and I need this. And it's like, you know, we got this hot stone treatment for you. Yeah, I want to get hot stones. And I can see it going.
I just, you know, or you know,
we got this wheatgrass.
We have this, you know, bike that you can ride for an hour.
I mean, that's just not what a lot of people are expecting. And we have these power crystals with your yoga. Crystal meth, what? You know.
Well, the pain management centers don't really do the yoga. There is a spiritual center that opened up in Dallas that I heard about. That's the one I'm talking about. The pain management centers are all about physical therapy, and they'll try a lot of non-narcotic drugs and options and patches and shots. And my grandma's been going to it, and she says my grandma never says a bad word about anything, and she's like, it's bull hockey. The whole thing is bull hockey.
That's the most Texan phrase I've heard in a long time.
Well, she is a like 68-year-old Texan, you know.
Fair enough. Well, let's see. Tonight we've talked about transitioning from male to female, and we've talked about heroin and drug addiction and pain and the uselessness of philosophy. What else?
I know, we're so Christmassy.
That's what I'm saying. Like, and we just gotta like wrap the stream up, like, you know, in the last little bit here with Christmassy stuff.
I was gonna ask Monkey what he's doing for Christmas, and I forgot to ask him.
We did talk about wrap versus unwrap presents and stuff.
Yeah.
So we talked about some Christmas stuff.
Excellent point. We did talk about that at length, whether or not we went into traditionalism very quick, but I'm okay with it. We had a Christmas topic, so the background makes some kind of sense.
Yes. Yes.
So let's get back to methadone.
Okay, let's get back to methadone. What's up?
Well, methadone's it's not really a pain medication. I mean, in the list of
No,
opioids, it's not. The whole
No.
idea behind methadone was to get you off of heroin and
Mhm.
lessen your withdrawal symptoms. If you want
Mhm.
anti-pain, you're talking Vicodin,
Mhm.
Percocet. Those are anti-pain opioids. So it seems like if pain was the issue for her, that methadone really wasn't the best choice.
Well, that really wasn't the reason. That's why I said it's the shadiest shit, like, you know, rehab center. You know what's
If she
funny?
can get anything she wants, then I don't see why she wouldn't go for the big stuff.
Oh, she did too. She did that too.
Oh.
I
I tried Vicodin once and it almost killed me. One pill.
Really? Like, you
but-
mean like almost knocked you out cold? I'm just curious here what effect it had. Like,
No, it made me deathly sick.
Really?
It made me deathly sick. I had surgery on my jaw. I had you wouldn't really call it surgery. I had a tooth removed that was impacting the jawbone. So it was technically surgery, and they prescribed me Vicodin as a pain reliever afterwards, and I had to go to work. I had to go to work the next day. So I got that morning, had my small breakfast and a Vicodin pill because I was in pain. And I got about halfway to work and pulled over the side of the road and just threw up for half an hour.
Oh.
Yeah, and got dizzy and was having problems staying awake. Like I was passing out. And I called up work and I said, you know, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. Can you send someone out to help me? They actually had to come from my job to come out and help me because I couldn't drive. I couldn't. I was in and out of consciousness. It wasn't a good thing. Vicodin was, you know, I've had other drugs because of problems. I had a motorcycle accident and I was taking Percocet, which is a derivative of Percodan, and I've never had that kind of problem. But the Vicodin, man, I was scared. I don't really get scared because of, you know, interactions with drugs, but boy, that scared me. That Vicodin was one pill.
Yeah. You and
One pill.
Vicodin don't go together.
No.
Yeah, that's a hell of a
Mine's
It
Mine's
was.
morphine. I've had it 3 times in the hospital, like in ER rooms.
Mhm.
And there was one time I had a really horrible reaction to it. It felt like all of my organs had caught on fire. And it was just this horrible burning, like I was, what is that called? Spontaneous combustion?
Mhm.
You know, I was high from the morphine and I had that. So I kind of thought I might be doing that. And I was like,
Explode into flames.
well, it turned out is I had a very bad infection in between my organs. And when the morphine hit it had a bad reaction. And it went very badly. I spent most of the night screaming at people and trying to go to sleep. And I won't have anything to do with morphine since that day. I'm like, nope, never. Nope.
Have you ever had a reaction, any kind of drug chaos?
When I was younger, like kindergarten, first grade, I had antihistamine issues. I take antihistamines, but
What was the effect?
night terrors.
Night terrors, really?
I would
Oh,
have these
man.
vivid nightmares and just wake up and didn't remember a damn thing about them.
I dated a girl when I was younger who had basically the same conditions that you're talking about, dealing with antihistamines, and she had a problem where when she fell asleep, her nasal sinuses would block up and she'd end up breathing through her mouth. So they gave her these antihistamines that were supposed to make her breathe better. And what they did was they opened up her sinuses so she can breathe better, but also gave her night terrors. And her problem was she would be in a position where she was having a night terror, and she would dream that she woke up, but she didn't wake up.
Yeah, stuff like
And
that.
then she would relive the terror again and then dream that she woke up from it. She never actually did wake up from it unless I shook her awake.
Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
that sounds
See,
fucking awful.
Night terrors.
Yeah, it was awful.
Night terrors were totally different for me. Like I haven't had one in a few years, thank God. But night terrors for me, like I'm actually awake for them. It's the part of my brain that dreams doesn't shut off when I wake up. So like I'll wake up and there'll be a dude standing at the end of my bed, but there's not actually a dude standing at the end of my bed, but I see him. And like, you know, it's a really weird, because I mean, you can wake me up out of it. Like Chris will grab me and shake me, and like I'll come out of it and I'll realize that there's not somebody standing in the room. But yeah, like my night terrors, I can actually move around and do stuff, which is actually pretty not a good thing. Because I've accidentally like attacked somebody one time because I didn't know who they were.
Do you have any sleep problems, Polly?
Oh shit, that's a hell of a question, dude. Yes, no, I do. I have very bad sleep problems. I got a prescription to help with that, and I was talking to my doctor about my sleep problems, and I said, but I'm not interested in, like, I've heard sleeping pill addiction and so on and so forth. And he looked at me like over top of his glasses and said, you realize I can prescribe you something that has no addictive properties, right? And I was like, that's a thing? He said, yeah, that's a thing. And I was like, I got really excited. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Yeah. Tried it, and it gave me the Jimmy legs, like restless leg syndrome. Like you wouldn't believe, which was odd as hell. And he said, no, that's not an uncommon reaction. He goes, you know, if you have trouble falling asleep, something that makes you drowsy can often have a counterintuitive effect, like a, you know, if you take Ritalin and you're not hyperactive, that sort of thing. It's like, you know, it was actually keeping you up. I have actually found that going for a good half hour, 45-minute walk within an hour, but not much more of bedtime, is probably one of the best sleep aids that I've come across.
Yeah,
it's sort of like tire yourself out a little bit. But yeah, I have big problems getting to sleep. It's and then problems waking up. That's once I'm asleep, finally, then I'm asleep for a long time and solidly.
It's probably one of the things I don't have a problem with is I never really have a problem sleeping. I can fall asleep within 10 minutes just about every time.
See,
just about every time.
Is that like a guy thing?
What?
I don't know. I certainly have. My brother has problems falling asleep, and it sounds like Polly does. So I don't know if it's necessarily a guy thing, but
well, he said once he's asleep, he stays asleep. So
yeah, there's a certain amount. For me, it's just a certain amount of. I'm not trying to brag here, but it's a certain amount of mental discipline. I find that if I'm having a problem falling asleep, it's because I'm thinking. So what I try to do, I think I've had this discussion with Polly before, is I try to find a way to stop thinking. Because if you stop thinking, you get bored and you fall asleep. It's pretty straightforward. So if a thought comes into your mind, and you start thinking about something, what you're going to do tomorrow, or you know, did I turn the lights off? You start getting into a thought. I don't start wondering about that stuff. I say to myself to stop thinking about that, and I put it out of my mind. And if you continue to do that over a period of time, just a couple of minutes, pretty soon you'll stop thinking about anything. You'll fall asleep. It's always worked for me.
Yeah. I mean, I would get into why I can't sleep most of the time, but then that goes into my whole post-traumatic stress thing, and I don't want to like freak everybody out. So, you know.
I'm curious if all of you have when you go to sleep, do you have to sleep in like the same place, or are you the kind of people that, like, I know people that can just fall asleep on the subway or the metro, right? Like no problem. Like the 30 seconds and they're out. They can fall asleep in a chair, lay your head on a table. Are all y'all like that, or do you have to fall asleep like in a bed?
I've fallen asleep in this chair that I'm sitting right now.
Because of my lack of sleep most of the time, I pass out. I've fallen asleep standing up in the shower. And I stayed there. Like Chris had to come get me. He's like, baby, you've been in here 3 hours. You want to go lay down?
I
was working a third shift job and falling asleep while standing up.
I remember this one
that's
friend who
happened to
told me
too.
one time.
Falling asleep
She's
by
like,
standing up.
I fell
Yeah,
asleep.
I
was
fall
much
asleep
younger.
standing up.
She woke up early for school and fell asleep in the shower with like her head leaning against the wall. And then the hot water heater ran out of water, and so the water went cold. And I was having the most horrible nightmare about being thrown overboard into like icy seas. It was awful. I was like, that's hilarious. Have you ever worked your alarm into your dream? Your alarm goes off, and it's just some annoying buzzer you can't find or something.
No, Chief.
I think he's saying some shit.
The only thing I've ever had to do is I had to change my my alarm in my phone so that it wasn't an abrupt blast on right away. It comes on real slow and it works its way up in volume because I have sleep paralysis and it makes it worse. So if it just comes on real soft and slowly wakes me up, I'm fine. But if something comes on that's loud and it just wakes me up instantly kind of deal, it's weird because you can't move for like 30 seconds. You're awake, but you can't do anything. It's kind of creepy. I'm used to it, but
My ISP just decided to drop there for a second, so I'm sure those who are listening saw.
Welcome back.
Well, everybody's did because OBS dropped too. So we probably went silent there for the last 10 seconds. Sorry about
live
that.
feed looks okay to me.
Does it? Okay, good. If anybody had any
Watching.
interruptions, sorry about that. I don't know.
You roboted quite a bit, but other than that, everything else went fine.
Okay. It seems fine now. It actually gave me the pop-up of OBS disconnected, but it reconnected. So, okay, anyway, just letting y'all. And now it's dropping again.
Yeah, I haven't had a problem getting to sleep since I was in my 20s. Remember when I was a little kid, I used to have a hard time getting to sleep. But yeah, since that technique from another guy who just said, here, try this. I never had a problem getting to sleep after that. I could sleep in a dime. You can just push me onto a bed and I'll right out.
See, Chris does that. He literally lays down the second his head hits the pillow, he could start snoring. Or like the longest it takes. One time he was complaining because it took him 30 minutes to fall asleep. And I'm like, I should stab you. I was like, I've been trying to sleep for the past 7 hours, well, 2 days. So
I should stab you.
I've told him, you know, if I didn't love you so much, I would have put a pillow on your face and then sat on it.
People wonder why I'm
Oh God.
Hey, I said I love him so much I didn't smother him to death, okay? I'd miss him if he died.
Oh, man.
I used to love her. Oh, my bad.
No, but he sleeps solid. I mean, we've gone through a few things where he would have phases of nightmares, you know, like when something traumatic happened around us, he would have nightmares every once in a while. But other than that, he's a solid sleeper. Like he goes, he passes out, and then like I wake him up in the morning. He doesn't like to wake up. I have to fight him to wake up or cuddle him to wake up. I think he milks that quite a bit just because he wants to get cuddles and his back rubs. But
that's adorable.
I really do think there's some days where he's just like, because I could tell he's awake by the way he breathes. And I'm like, you know, you've been awake for like 45 minutes now. Come on, go get in the shower.
So what do you think, guys?
But other than that, he sleeps great.
You think turning it over to chat for whatever questions they might have, hopefully Christmas related and nothing to do with methadone.
Or night terrors.
Or night terrors, yeah. Chaos, you've been kind of quiet for a while. You drifting off?
I don't know what you said after that.
He said, are you drifting off?
No, I was just looking at something and listening.
I understand, robot.
This whole stream's going to sound like I'm auto-tuning or something. Fuck.
Well, you are Dr. Dub.
Right?
Yes. So why didn't I get a link, Zelthor?
I said Christmassy questions.
He won't even answer you. You said hopefully Christmassy questions. You didn't say they have to be.
Hey, Hammer.
Yes, dear.
Didn't you want to talk about video game stuff at some point?
Oh, yeah.
That was on the Minion stream. We can't hear, but
If you
I've
want to
kind
save
of
it for
thought about
minions,
that.
that's cool. Or here, either way.
Well,
No, that was
I kind of thought about it
Well-
over the last since I mentioned it, that because it's something that bothers me, but I think if I say anything, I'm just going to get people mad at me, and I don't want to do that. Maybe it's better if I just keep my mouth shut.
Oh yeah, that brings up a thing. I have tomorrow's stream, which is Christmas Eve. Are any of y'all free? Because like I have nobody signed up so far.
If you need somebody,
Well,
I'll be on.
I'm standby as always.
Yeah, because I have a lot of people saying, well, maybe if I don't have family stuff.
Chaos, you too? We'll just transfer over there tomorrow night. It'll be this stream part 2. And you should ask Zelthor. I don't know where, but I think I heard he wants to be on a stream.
He wanted to be on your stream, fucker.
Zelthor is always welcome on my stream. Why not tonight? I don't know. Frankly, I don't put a lot of thought into these things. I was talking with Monkey on DMs and asked him if he wanted to be on. I don't know. I opened up my Discord DMs and just started asking people. It was, don't feel singled out in a negative way, man. Not even close. You're always welcome on a stream.
Okay, so is there any questions?
Jack, you have the added option of being a humorous when you get on streams and stuff like that. I'm not that funny, so people get really mad at me when I say things like that. So,
well, I would say I'm difficult to offend. So
Wait a minute. That sounds like you said you had a question in mind, but you didn't want to ask it out of fear of offending people? Or are you talking about something completely different?
I was talking to Jack. He mentioned in the stream, he says he pisses people off all the time. He's encouraging me to get into trouble.
No, I
Oh,
mean,
okay, I
if
see
you
that
have
now,
a
yeah.
gaming thing, I mean, what's the premise so we could tell you if you're going to piss people off or not?
Oh, I know myself well enough to know where I'm going with this. All right. Well, we'll just touch on it. Maybe, hopefully, it doesn't get anybody's panties in a bunch. But there's some people who are maybe it has something to do with age. There's a certain subset of game players out on the net that are kind of driving me crazy because they're playing games like, I guess, like Halo and Red Dead Redemption and all these popular video games, and they're going on and on about how hard they are because they don't know fucking hard games from anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you take first-person shooters. You take any first-person shooter. If you've played a first-person shooter, you can play all of them. It's forward, backwards, left, right. Use the mouse to aim. It's the same. They're all the same. Even like Vermintide, I play with some of the Minion people. It's like playing Doom or Quake or Battlefront. It's all the same. But I see people online. I follow Boogie2988. He's a gamer, and I get a lot of my gaming news from him. And I leave stuff in his comments because he's going through some tough times. He's losing weight and he's getting divorced, all this kind of stuff. So I keep active in his comment section, although I'm not as much of a game player as anybody else. But I hear people going on and on. It's so hard it's just too hard to play. And I want to punch my monitor because they don't know.
Yeah.
They don't know what hard is.
Oh, I know. I mean, I know you know more than me, but I remember back in the day when there wasn't a save, and also you died. You had to start all the way the fuck over.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I take my experience from the mud. When you die, all the equipment that you've gotten from the 22 slots that are available on your body, your chest piece, your arm plates, your gloves, your earrings, every piece that's fitted onto your body is in your corpse, and you get teleported back to your home base. You have to walk all the way back out there to get that stuff. And it's not a clear path. You're going to run into obstacles, and there are bad people who are playing against you. And then this is a text-only game. There's no, forward, backwards, left, right, and a mouse. No. It's west, 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 north, 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 west, west, and you're watching text go by. That it's hard to play the game just interacting with the game itself. And then once you learn how to interact with the game, then it's hard to play to be successful at the game. So, people say, I died and I lost this percentage of my hit points or whatever, or I lost this one piece of equipment or it got damaged and I had to go to a vendor and have it fixed for 5 gold. I think to myself, you play games like the Mud, you die, someone can walk up to your corpse and take all your shit and leave. And that's just the way it is, pal. Welcome to the game. You don't know hard until you've played some of the old school stuff. And of course, they were giving me nothing but shit because I espouse this opinion.
No, I mean, I'm not even talking about as old as you are. Just in like the original Nintendo shit, I think a lot of people from today would lose their shit on that because just, you know, like I said, there was no like saving shit. There was no, you know, oh, you start back up where you died. No, you had to start the whole fucking game over again. So, you know, I've had that argument with plenty of people too. They're like, games are so hard, and I'm like, you literally have an option to skip this level. What are you bitching about?
So I'd like to start out with Hammer. Oh my god, I can't believe it. You ageist, you bigot.
You ageist.
You ageist.
It's usually the other way around. Usually I'm the victim of ageism, but
No, but seriously, I do understand where you're coming from with that. It's like the day I realized that I could open it because I worked at GameStop for about 8 years,
Mhm.
and the day I realized I could pick up a video game case and open it, and there would not be an instruction manual in there.
that's a good point. I didn't think about that.
So then I realized I was getting old.
Mhm.
Games were really evolving.
Mm-hmm. And oh god, you know, the only one I could think of, oh god, what is that? There's this game that is actually fucking hard as shit. It's Black Souls or Black Hearts?
Dark Souls.
Dark Souls. Oh god, like my man got that from GameStop, and as he's buying it, like it was like the second one or something, the guy behind the counter was like, "Do you know what you're getting into?" And he was like, "Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." And I was like, "No, wait. No, you tell me. You tell me what he's getting into, because I'm the one that's going to have to deal with it."
It's a game that punishes you for sucking.
Yeah, the guy was like, he was like, it's a game where basically you will die for entering the game.
Do you not know how this works? Have you not heard of this, Polly?
I have not. I didn't realize that.
Basically, if you take 3 steps, something tries to kill you, and probably does.
It is a very heavily skill-based game, so if you get good at it, you can be really good at it and get through it. But it's either A, you just get really good at it, or B, it's trial and error. In which case, you'll just figure out where the traps are, where the bad guys are, how to beat each one by one, and you'll eventually get through it. But the problem is a lot of times, if you die too many times in one place, the game would, at least in the original one, I think Demon Souls was the first one. The way it worked was if you died, every enemy in that area leveled up, got stronger. If you died too many times in a specific area, it would spawn a mini boss that you had to kill before you could continue on.
Like, yeah, the game just every time you died, the game keeps getting harder and harder and harder. And my man loves gaming.
Wow.
At one point, when he started throwing the controllers again, I was like, nope, no more playing this game. Nope, I'm taking it away. I'm hiding it.
I love the Dark Souls games.
Because I'm like, well, you know, controllers are expensive and we're poor. So
It's the
I got him on
Oregon
7 Days
Trail.
to Die.
That's funny.
There's not
Yeah, it's
quite
basically you're going to die.
Well, okay, so tell me on this level, because I'm not a gamer, so all of this interests me, and I'm largely ignorant about lots of it. Hammer mentioned Red Dead Redemption. Is that a game that you can call difficult or hard, or is it really more about the story mode? Because I was under the impression it was really more about the story mode, and the game, because I'm a big fan of Westerns, really caught my attention. Like, hey, I'd like to play that. So I don't know.
There were some difficult parts to me, but it not really, no. Overall, it was fairly easy to play game, easy to pick up, easy to learn. It was more about the story, more about the, for lack of a better way to describe it, it was more like Grand Theft Auto in the Wild West.
Okay.
So it was fairly approachable. You know, anybody could pick up and play it, so it wasn't the super huge difficulty to it.
Well, the reason I mention it is because it is, well, for Red Dead Redemption, it's a third-person shooter. It's more like Overwatch. But I was trying to mention first-person shooters because once you know one, you know them all.
Right.
Like I can play Quake, and because I can play Quake, I can play World of Warcraft. Although World of Warcraft is can be a first-person shooter, it is designed initially to be a third person. You're actually looking down at your character or following behind your character. Where Quake, you're actually looking through the person's eyes. So anything that's that first or third person shooter as opposed to a side scroller or a tower based game or something like that, once you pick up one, you can transfer skills from one to the other. You know, so that's the point I was trying to make, not the fact that it's a first person shooter specifically.
Yeah. There are definitely, especially when they've started streamlining the way first person shooter controls go. Because back in like the early days of PlayStation 1 and PS2, every developer who came out with a new first-person shooter game had their own interpretation of how first-person shooter controls should be. So you had to relearn the controls every time you played. But nowadays, everybody's pretty much copied the model that I think it was Call of Duty was the first one to do it. Was it Call of Duty or Halo? I think it might have been Halo. Started out with, and so they pretty much all handle the same way. You press the same button to crouch, you use the right thumbstick to look around, left thumbstick to move, It's pretty much the same formula. Once you figure out how to do it, it's just figuring out the couple little subtle nuances that are different, and then it takes you all of 5 minutes, and then it's pretty much the same game.
Yeah. And it's even more so on a PC platform as opposed to a console, because a PC platform, you can change the keyboard to be whatever you want it to be.
Right. So
I've never actually played most of those games, but I know of people who played them and I've seen them play. And I think to myself, I've played Quake for 6-8 years. I was, in tournaments. I could walk into this game and just kill. But you get too wrapped up in it, and pretty soon you realize you're spending 7-8 hours a day playing a game. It's not good for you. That's why I like playing games with somebody else. That's why I like Vermintide with the Minions group, is because you're not going to play every day. Everybody can't always be at that same place at that same time to do it. So it kind of keeps me from getting so involved with it that I do nothing else but play that game. We were supposed to play this weekend too.
We are. Well, it's the weekend.
Yeah, when is Red Dead Redemption?
Okay, well, we got tomorrow.
I heard that now's the time to get into Red Dead if you want to do it, because Red Dead 2 is coming out soon. So you'll have like one fun game after another, and it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
See, my real life group of friends, they're all excited about the new Monster Hunter game coming out. It's supposed to be pretty good. It's you play as essentially a monster hunter. You hunt dinosaurs and large monster creatures and stuff like that. And this is one of those games that's very heavily skill based. You learn how to maneuver and how to react into situations, and using the tools you have available to you to bring down the big monsters and stuff like that. You work as a team. It's pretty cool.
I wasn't laughing at you, Chaos, but I looked up Red Dead Redemption release date. Mm-hmm. The release date is 2018.
Well, it's only.
That's very.
I know, it just made me laugh. They didn't say March. They didn't say the 28th. They just said 2018. So anytime in the next 365 days is when we're going to release it.
Hold on, they offered pre-order and took your cash when the closest specificity they could get to for a day was sometime in this 365-day range.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Different people do it. This goes back to ID Software when they released Wolfenstein. After they'd done the EGA version and they were doing the VGA version, if you know those technical terms. Mm-hmm. ID Software was asked when they were going to release Wolfenstein for VGA, and ID set the platform by saying when it's done. In other words, we're going to release it when we're happy with it. And whenever that day is, that's when that day is. We're not going to give you a date.
See, I miss game companies doing that. Like saying, hey, when it gets done, we'll let you know when we're ready to release it. But, that so many times they get these deadlines set by somebody higher up that they get told, hey, we want to sell the game at this time. If you're not done with it, we're pulling the plug on you. So they have to rush and get a game out. And
And
nine times out of 10, yeah, 9 times out of 10, there's bugs all over the place. They're just like, well, we'll just patch it later.
No Man's Sky comes to mind.
Oh, God. That shit show.
Well, I'm just jumping in the conversation here because I barely know what you are talking about. But just with the patchwork thing, and the thing that annoys me are the games that aren't even finished yet, but they put them out, like Subnautica and 7 Days to Die. They're just constantly working on because they never finished it, but they wanted to get it out. So, you started with this very basic thing, and then you have to, like, Subnautica is driving Chris insane because every time they do updates to it, he has to start all over.
Yep.
So, like, he'll have this huge thing built. He'll be really far in the game, and then there's an update, and pretty much everything he has is used.
That was the thing that drove us crazy about 7 Days to Die, is because I've been playing it on PC for a couple of years now. It is still in the alpha testing phase, for one. Number two, the time and effort they were supposed to, they told us they were spending on working on the PC game, they were spending on trying to get it out on PlayStation to try to make more, to get a new cash flow, to get this. And it really pissed off a lot of the PC players because the time and money they said they were sinking into researching the game, they were trying to just drum up more money rather than finishing the fucking game first. And it really confuses a lot of people on consoles because unlike PC players who have access to alpha and beta games, they don't really understand what it's like to get an incomplete game and have to play it. You guys go to the store, you pick up the game, you expect it to be complete, not still in alpha. You know what I mean?
What ID did, being the company whose games I played the most, so I'm most familiar with, is they did the latest version of Quake online called Quake Champions. And it was a free beta and a free alpha. So you could play the game as they updated it online until they released it, and then you have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So as the game got better, you didn't have to pay for it. As the game got better and people tested it for them, and they found all the problems, they fixed all the problems, you were allowed to play the entire time for free. It's still available to play if you want to play right now.
Mm-hmm.
So until they get the bugs all worked out and they're happy with it, then you have to pay. I think that's the best model. Yeah, you're using your people to beta test, but they don't have to if they don't want to.
Sorry, my internet cut out again.
It's okay.
I saw you drop. Me and Chaos have decent connections to the internet, apparently.
Well, it's not
Ouch.
my Wi-Fi is actually very good. It's my internet, the Wi-Fi adapter in the laptop apparently keeps skitzing out, and I have to go fix it and then come back. So I don't know what's going on with that.
Well, you asked me how to fix it, and I sent you a DM in.
Well, that was for the updates. Even when we fixed the update situation, the adapter is still an issue. But it's not a big issue. I just go click some things and it works again. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, and on that note, unless the few people remaining in chat have any specific questions, and we'll give them the delay time to figure out if they do.
And now Inquisitor wants in the stream.
Oh yeah,
give me the link.
Give me the link, Bob.
And then edit.
As we're wrapping up.
And how would Zelthor feel if I sent the link to you?
I don't want to hit my laptop, Jack. I like it.
It's brand new.
It's coming up on 4:30, so.
Yeah, it is getting pretty late. So, on that note, why don't we wrap her up right here? So, I will thank all of y'all for showing up. I really appreciate it. Pretty awesome, especially late notice. Just kind of came up with the idea because I was bored and a little tipsy, and I thought, why the hell not? Let's just do a stream. So thank you for all coming. Thank you, chat, for being here. You guys are awesome. Had a whole bunch of minions in the chat, and Jack Cochran, of course. Just a fucking great bunch.
The motherfucking Jack Cochran.
The one and only. I would love to have him on a stream one time. I gotta, and we're following each other on Twitter. I gotta DM him and see if he's willing to come on. He's like the rare commodity, man. He was on the Minion stream once and just on the on Monkey's stream for the first time, and it was a great stream with him on it tonight on Monkey's stream.
He was on my stream first.
He was. I said the Minion stream. It was yeah. Makes a great guest. So there it is. So going left to right. Chaos Eve, thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. Lucky Pop-Tart, of course.
Thanks for having me.
And always the one-ton hammer.
Have a great night, guys.
All right. And I'm Polydub, of course. Everybody, have a Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.